He completely emptied his entire bank account in one single, alarming day. Gold bars, jewelry, and stacks of cash were all gone in one swift transaction. He then crisscrossed state lines, changed his travel plans, and paid entirely in cash for a place to stay. Miraculously, just hours later, he was discovered half-clothed in a construction zone, surrounded by his wealth. Despite the scene, every single dollar and every piece of jewelry remained untouched right beside him. Absolutely. No one witnessed the actual attack or managed to steal a single piece of property. He died while seemingly fleeing an unknown threat that might not have even existed. A quick pulse of newspaper clippings flashes by, confirming a Canadian man died mysteriously in Tennessee. This baffling case only deepens when you realize the key clue proves it wasn't a simple robbery. His name was Blair Adams, a stable 31-year-old man from Surrey, British Columbia. He was sober, steadily employed, and loved by many people in his community. Just 1 week in July 1996, he started telling people that someone actively wanted him dead. He never once revealed the identity of this supposed pursuer to anyone. On the 5th of July, Blair began liquidating everything he owned, starting with his finances. He took all the cash and precious metals from both his bank account and his safe deposit box. Border agents stopped his first attempt to leave the country by car at the checkpoint. He tried again immediately afterward, attempting to cross the line on foot this time. After some delay, the agents eventually allowed him to pass through the official boundary. Next, he rented a car in the US and drove straight down to the city of Seattle. While in Seattle, he quickly booked a return flight all the way across the Atlantic to Germany. Yet, only minutes later, he completely changed his highly specific travel destination. He successfully swapped the expensive ticket for a one-way flight heading to Washington, D.C. This sudden pivot made absolutely no sense, because he knew absolutely nobody in D.C. He provided zero rational explanation for this dramatic international itinerary change. This spontaneous abandonment of his original escape plan is highly unusual behavior. The morning of the 10th of July finally arrived, and he landed at Dulles International Airport. He immediately rented a silver Toyota sedan, preparing for the next leg of his journey. Blair then drove relentlessly, covering almost 500 miles in a single, exhausting day. As dusk settled over the landscape, he found himself outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. He became completely stuck trying to operate the lock mechanism on his rental car door. The problem was that he was using the absolute wrong key for that specific vehicle. A nervous, shaky laugh escaped him as he wrestled clumsily with the stubborn lock. A local tow driver later described Blair as looking absolutely terrified of something unseen. The driver noted he seemed as if someone was actively pursuing him right at that moment. Eventually, the helpful driver dropped him off safely at a nearby Fairfield Inn location. Hotel security cameras captured Blair pacing anxiously back and forth in the spacious lobby area. He nervously checked over his shoulder for a full 37 minutes straight while waiting. He approached the desk and successfully paid $100 for a room using only cash. Blair took the physical room key from the clerk without showing any hesitation or doubt. He then immediately walked straight out of the main front entrance doors into the night. That specific hotel room was documented by police as never having been used by him at all. If he was supposedly seeking absolute safety, this action is completely counterintuitive to survival. The following morning, construction workers made a truly terrible discovery near the interstate. They found Blair's body in a nearby lot, situated across the busy interstate highway from the hotel. He was tragically found partially undressed in the clearing, suggesting a struggle. His scattered articles of clothing lay close to where his body tragically rested. Thousands of dollars in multiple currencies were floating around his remains when discovered. A fanny pack containing gold, jewelry, and crucial road maps was also found nearby. Crucially, every single valuable item remained completely untouched by any potential thief. Whatever or whoever caused his death clearly had absolutely no interest in his accumulated wealth. The medical examiner determined the official cause of death was extreme internal blunt force trauma. A single massive blow had somehow torn his abdomen open entirely from the inside out. He slowly bled to death over several agonizing hours before the first light of dawn appeared. In his clenched hand, investigators surprisingly found a single, long strand of hair. This hair did not belong to Blair Adams. Under any subsequent DNA examination, forensics found no traceable DNA match to any known suspect in their existing databases. Investigators also failed to ever locate the actual weapon used in the brutal attack. This was one clean, fatal strike, delivered with no evidence of theft or struggle whatsoever. Witnesses confirm seeing Blair near a local Cracker Barrel the evening before his terrible death. He was reportedly engaged in a quiet, intense conversation with an unknown, unidentified man there. Hotel CCTV confirms he paid for the room and then immediately left the building afterward. After that documented moment, his movements vanish entirely from any public camera footage. No single recording shows him crossing the busy interstate highway in the dead of night. Remarkably, nobody in the vicinity reported hearing any cries for help at all. So what powerfully compelled him to cross 4 lanes of traffic into that dark, vacant lot? Why choose the half-built site instead of the safe, paid-for shelter just steps away? One prevailing theory suggests Blair suffered a complete paranoid spiral that entire week. His bizarre border crossings and key fumbling could easily point towards severe mental distress. Perhaps he was running entirely from his own escalating internal thoughts and fears. However, psychotic episodes rarely leave large sums of money neatly accounted for and organized. Furthermore, they usually do not result in such a precisely calculated internal physical injury. We must ask if a complete mental breakdown could possibly manifest with such clinical organization. The initial financial liquidation looks less like madness and more like deliberate, strategic preparation. Organized preparation for an event does not align with a sudden, unmanaged mental descent. Another strong belief is that he was meeting someone important for a prearranged transaction. He traveled light, but specifically carried liquid assets that hold value universally across borders. This entire stressful journey might have been arranged for a high-stakes negotiation of some kind. Perhaps that planned meeting escalated violently into a fatal disagreement over the terms. It's entirely possible someone ensured that Blair would never be able to speak or testify again. The public stripping of his body suggests a motive far more personal than simple theft. Such a brutal, demeaning act is often interpreted as extreme personal revenge or calculated humiliation. He possessed the valuable goods, but the true objective was ensuring he was silenced permanently. The empty hotel room could have been the planned rendezvous point that ultimately went tragically wrong. He was silenced immediately before he could ever complete his intended high-value exchange. The third, simpler possibility is that he was simply a victim of terrible random violence. He could have accidentally encountered transient criminals operating stealthily along the interstate corridor. It fits the classic pattern of the wrong person being in the wrong place at the absolute wrong time. However, this simple explanation immediately breaks down upon close examination of the crime scene. Random attackers or common thieves would never willingly leave thousands of dollars behind. Every single known motive for the assault seems to completely fail under intense scrutiny. In the tragic case of Blair Adams, every single logical theory ultimately collapses in on itself. All reliable lines of inquiry relentlessly circle back to that single unused hotel room key. He paid for that guaranteed shelter, yet refused to allow himself to ever enter the space. Was that key meant to represent immediate safety, or was it an intentional, prearranged signal? Was the expensive cash payment a legitimate transaction, or part of a sinister, covert arrangement? Whatever was truly haunting Blair Adams that fateful week did not stop at that simple lobby door. If he was running from a specific person, we must accept that he finally encountered them there. If he was fleeing an internal fear, someone external tragically made that fear a physical reality. We are left wondering what drove a man to check into a room only to run directly into the darkness. Comment below what you think truly caused the death of Blair Adams. He completely emptied his entire bank account